But speaking of Max performances, yes, Max performances, a bad kind of Max performance from Max Verstappen and Red Bull. Let's get this out of the way at the start. Sergio Perez, only trouble in qualifying, no problems here. Actually had a really good race, made up a bunch of spots, and got a top 10 finish. I believe he finished 7th. Okay, so yes, Sergio's been struggling, but he was not necessarily the problem here. The problem, of all things, was Max Verstappen.
Yeah. So I guess the big question is, did he stay up too late playing video games?
Well, let's go ahead and look this up. Was there, in fact, a 24-hour team red line? Yes, there was! There was!
Oh, no.
Bro.
Oh, no. Ooh, okay. So let's actually discuss this, because I have seen a lot of F1 commentators criticize David Croft on Sky Sports for suggesting that Max Verstappen maybe didn't get enough sleep the night before the race, and that's why he was being particularly petulant, cranky, short, mean. I don't know, whatever adjective you want to use to describe his sort of back and forth with his race engineer, Lambiase. You can use that word, and it was pretty out of the ordinary even for Max Verstappen. But I've seen a lot of F1 commentators be like, Crofty is sort of going way too far with this criticism of Max. And should Crofty have mentioned it like more than maybe one time? No, it was he brought it up a few times too many. But I do think it's actually legitimately a fair question to ask, because this was a very, very weird race for him. He looked like just very sloppy, was making a lot of mistakes, and just sounded extremely unhappy. So I don't know. Is it fair to be like, hey, maybe he should have like not done this iRacing thing the night before?
It is. I'm going to read you a sentence, okay? Verstappen joined the race piloting the leading M4 GT3 in the early hours of Sunday morning ahead of the Hungarian event. During the darkness, the 61-time Grand Prix winner drove a consistent stint, deftly shadowed by the related red line Mustang, for 3 hours. So I don't want to give any credence to a tired line of sports talk questioning that outlaws any outside interest, recreation, diversion,
100%.
or otherwise unrelated entertainment, entertainment unrelated to the sport that you're doing. In fact, if anything, it's like Max is practicing too much. Let me take that tack. I don't think it's a diversion. I think Max is driving too much. I think Max is, you say, well, is his focus diverted? No, this man is too focused. He gets off the track and he immediately goes into a sim.
Yeah.
I would.
He cares too much. That's a great spin.
I would argue that Max needs a hobby. Let's get Max a touch grass hobby. Okay.
F1 is his hobby. You don't understand.
I know.
The race in Hungary is his hobby.
The first car he had was an F1 car. That's not a joke. Like, it was a race car. I don't believe at any point that we've considered that maybe Max needs some oxygen in that room. Maybe we need to get this man to touch grass. Maybe we need him outside a little more. Maybe he needs a hobby or some space, because I would disagree with Crofty on this basis alone. I think it's a fair criticism. It's just coming from the wrong angle. I think he's doing too much racing.
Too much F1.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he did say after the race that anyone who felt that he had been disrespectful to his team could F off, which I thought was hilarious. But I do know of one hobby that Max does have. And this popped up on one of my social media apps this week, and I wanted to watch it with you. One of his hobbies, other than the sim racing and Formula One, is cats. So here is Max recognizing cat breeds in a video.
You know your cats, Max?
Ragdoll?
Yes.
Bombay? But I've never seen a British short hair like this. So it's an American short hair?
Yeah.
This is a British short hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's orange then. Is that just orange?
Yeah, it's just orange cat.
Is it an Egyptian mouse? This? What the fuck? Maine Coon?
Yes.
Serval? No, Abyssinian cat?
Yes.
Dragon Lee?
Yeah.
But the ears are folded, so it's a Scottish fold.
Classic Scottish fold.
So he does have one other hobby. I've never even heard of half of those cats before.
That's a lot of cat knowledge on display. That is 100% a shocking amount of cat knowledge. So
Have you seen this before?
I've never seen that before. I've never
It's
seen
amazing.
Max wow me by correctly identifying. I think the British short hair was the hardest one, or the American short hair, because he was like, well, it looks like a British, but not quite like that, which meant that he had
I've
like
never
fine,
heard of
discerning knowledge of a
cats.
cat connoisseur to know that it could be the alternate breed. I'm floored. Maybe I need to take back everything I just said. He's got enough hobbies. He
does. He's got cats in F1.
Crofty's right. Crofty's right. Get him more sleep. That's fine.
That's just the sleep.
Yeah, he did have a testy moment. We talked about airing your laundry publicly. This was the race of airing your laundry publicly. He did have a testy moment with Red Bull and with Christian Horner where he said that it was shit strategy and that he was going to make the rest of it after the team screwed it up for him. I have no problem with Max saying that at any point. Doing it on the radio is counterproductive. And frankly, by the way, Horner even responding and saying it was childish. Don't. You know who we need to hear less of? Christian Horner. I don't need to hear Christian Horner say a thing in response.
Yeah. I mean, I think that Max had a point about the strategy being really shit and like just kind of being a sitting duck for the undercut earlier in the race. But then he made his own bed with the whole Lewis Hamilton thing later on in the race and then was complaining about that. And it was interesting to hear pushback for, when he got kind of nudged off the track and he's like, well, you could just do that now. And like, he did get like a pushback from his engineer, which I feel like we never really hear them being like, you're wrong. Just keep racing. Stop it. Stop trying to blame everyone else. We always hear like support, like, yeah, we're looking into it. So I thought that was very interesting. It was very like, unusually testy, and like the Lewis Hamilton thing was just crazy, and the way the FIA handled it I thought was also crazy. But if you're one of the Max Verstappen doubters who's like he just doesn't know how to race wheel on wheel because he's been in a faster car for the last 3 years, like that was good evidence. But
to have a little evidence to support your theory.
But yeah, it was just like a really like uncharacteristically like sloppy, bad, angry.
Yeah.
Like, we call him Mad Max, but this was like, yeah, like he was angry. He was actually mad. This whole race.
It's very funny to me that he had that kind of day, which is the kind of day you have when you are a tired, sleepy baby.
Yeah.
He had that kind of day.
Aw.
Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton, most veteran day ever. What'd you do? Podium. Which one was it? Third. How'd you do it?
Yeah.
Chill. Just stay completely calm. He even gets through that crash by being relatively calm. Max barges in, flies over him, goes like a little airborne for a minute, and Lewis just calmly proceeds, just like, oh well, that's fine. We got it. Just the most clock in, clock out pro day
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton has had this year with the best results. Like,